Welcome to this presentation of the Rotary Club of North Bethesda, Maryland, USA. Our club was established in 1974. We meet every Friday morning at 7:45 a.m., and we often invite guest speakers to give presentations on all kinds of interesting subjects. Please contact us through our website at nbrotary.org. And thanks for watching.
No one else has any other announcements. I think we can bring up our own Paul Arveson to discuss.
We don't have a 3-minute speaker.
Oh,
That was great.
We already had that.
Oh, okay.
So Paul, are you ready with me?
All right. Let me move that microphone.
And you should record this, Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you recording?
Yeah. Might help a little.
Okay. The lighting isn't that great on here, but I just won't be on here long. I just want to show some little slides here. Let me share my screen for you.
Can you just make sure everyone can hear? Can everyone hear Paul?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, this is an update on the plans for a solar cooking project. Let me get this started here.
Excuse me, Paul, do you want to introduce your guest, maybe? You have a guest virtually?
Yes, is there one guest there, Sophie?
It's me, yes. Yeah. Hi, everybody.
Sophie?
Can we sweep it?
Hi, Toby.
I'll have to get out of this.
Do it later.
Sophie is the executive director of Solar Household Energy, and she lives here in PG County, and she's just interested in listening in on our talk today.
Welcome, Sophie.
Thank you for letting me sit in, and don't worry, I didn't pay too close attention to your Rotary matters. That isn't any of my business beforehand. So thank you for letting me be part of letting me listen in. All right.
Okay. Get back and share screen. All right. Can you see that okay?
Yes.
That's the title slide. This is some work that has been in the making for quite a couple of years now, involving work that, in fact, Sophie was involved with some of the planning for this down in Oaxaca, Mexico. And so I want to show you a little bit about the how that works. And I hope I can change the slides. Yeah. So Rotary has 6 areas of focus areas of things that we do. Rotary is people of action, right? So this is about doing something that can help people around the world. These are have been the traditional areas of focus. Now recently, they have adopted a 7th area of focus, environment. And the description they give of environmental actions is stated this way: Rotary supports activities that strengthen the conservation and protection of natural resources, advance environmental sustainability, and foster harmony between people and the environment. So there's 4 sections under that general heading, and the 4th one deals with reducing the problems due to climate change. So under section 4B, there's a provision that says providing clean cooking technologies as a part of a holistic approach to reduce or eliminate the burning of biomass and fossil fuels that results in deforestation, degraded land, or increased air pollution. So this is a new area of focus in Rotary. all over the world. This is where we were placing the focus for the solar cooking project. There are about 2.4 billion people that still depend on cooking fires for their food. And this is a very widespread practice, and it leads to lots of health issues. World Health Organization has calculated that there's roughly 4 million people a year who die early due to respiratory diseases. It's more than from malaria and other causes. Because the women and often the children are immersed in this smoky atmosphere for hours every day. Women are also typically involved in rounding up the wood, gathering firewood for these cooking fires. And so they're out in the woods foraging and cutting and chopping wood. A lot of heavy labor, a lot of risks and hazards in that environment. And it leads to deforestation, the hills getting stripped for firewood. So it ends up with a consequence that looks like this, where this sawed off branches of trees have been bare ground is left. This then turns into lots of other problems, habitat loss and erosion of the land and so forth. So in many of these places, there's plenty of sunshine. You see clear skies, and this is where it's suitable for solar cooking. So what is a solar cooker? And I've given this talk before, but I'm going to skip over some things. But I just wanted to highlight, this is Dr. Chris Puttock on the left. The man on the right is Vijay Kalpa. He's in the Greenbelt Rotary Club here. And Chris lives in our district, 7620 for Rotary. But he is the head of the Environmental Sustainability Rotary Action Group for the world. It's a global initiative. So he is interested in deforestation issues around the world. Solar cookers come in many different designs and types. The basic concept is to concentrate sunlight onto a black pot to heat the pot and make boil water or cook food. Very simple. The prices depend on how much metal is involved, how much construction technology is involved. But we favor the panel types because they're low cost, simple to use, easy to put together. And we've been seeking to drive down the cost of these so that they can be accessible to a lot more people around the world. So one of the Rotary Club members in San Diego is Roger Haynes, and he has, for years, he's a retired attorney. He got into designing solar cookers, and he has a backyard with sunshine every day, unlike around here. And so he has developed some very efficient, low-cost solar cooker designs. He's been working on distributing some of these with his club. And so one of the places that we've started a pilot project is in Oaxaca, Mexico, distributing solar cookers for the women in this part of the world. And we like the concept of thinking of them as ambassadors. We want to get some of these women to start learning the practice of solar cooking and then pass it on to their friends and neighbors and spread this around, and they can get some economic benefits from this approach. Here is Lorena Harp on the right. She has been the field manager for this project in Oaxaca. It's in the southern region of Mexico, down near Guatemala in this area. It's a very sunny area, but a lot of poverty and a lot of deforestation is going on. So sometimes the deforestation is illegal. They chop down wood and then they sell it. So it's kind of an illegal economy. So what Lorena sets up, she'll go to a village and set up a little demonstration project, and she'll invite passersby to come to the city square, and she'll cook some food, various things, and show off how these solar cookers can work. And then she'll distribute some of these to some people that she has trained to get into solar cooking. So here's an example of 6 women cooking their main meal for their families in the sun down in Oaxaca. And so, as you can see, all they're doing is watching the sun do the work, and they just hang out in the shade of a tree and socialize. So life is easy. Yes.
What is the basic time to cook? What would it be, a stew or?
Well, if you're cooking, usually, your foods will have water in them, and so the cooker will get up to the boiling point of water and then stay there and simmer. So it maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, it'll cook a pot of food. But again, that's clock time, that's not labor time. The labor time is minimal. And so,
You mean to prepare the dish to
right.
start cooking? Got it.
Yeah. I do it here on a sunny day. I can take a frozen chicken breast out of the freezer and put it in a pot, pour a little sauce over it. My cooking's done. And the sun does the rest of the work. And in about a couple of hours, everything is nice and juicy and ready to go. So that's how easy it is. This is if I can get it, this is a little video that they produced. Shows. That's a cake that she baked in this pot. Don't touch, too hot. Rice, chicken stew.
Is that a plastic material?
Yeah. There's her cake. So this is the new approach to cooking. It really it fits into their culture there better because in Oaxaca they have their main meal in the middle of the day, and then they have a siesta. So they don't have to worry about food storage or just eat right after it's heated up. So solar cooking has lots of potential benefits. The focus area we're thinking about is reduced deforestation, but it can ripple out into lots of other areas because it's basically 99% of the cooking is done by women. And by freeing up some of their time, that gives them opportunities for other things to do with their time, like an education, childcare, paid work of some sort, lots of possibilities. And of course, there's no smoke, there's no emissions at all. So it has health impacts. It spills out into a lot of potential areas. So this is visionary. This is just a vision. This is a potential vision. This hasn't really been achieved, I think, in most places yet, but I think that it will be coming in the future. So in terms of economics, the only cost for solar cooking is the initial cost of the device, and the kind of solar cookers that we're looking at are cost them roughly $30 or $40, something like that. But then that will be it, and then they last several years, 5 years or more. So they reduce the cost of labor and free up time. You can also, of course, cook as a restaurant model or different business models. You can sell the cooked food. You can sell you can use the solar heat to process things. Like some people, they make shea butter. Barry was talking about using it to render beeswax for melting beeswax. You can use it for dyeing fabrics. Wherever you need a lot of heat, you can use solar heat. And of course, you can sell the solar cookers themselves. So that's one of the things we hope to do. So our project in Oaxaca is to expand on this pilot project that's already been started to distribute, train, and promote solar cooker use in several villages in Oaxaca. And Oaxaca, by the way, it's a funny word, you know, it's an Indian word. And it is the location where we get corn, because the Zapotec, Mixtec Indians in that region developed this little grain called teosinte, and they crossbred it over time, over thousands of years, to get to the point where we have big ears of corn today. They did that in Oaxaca. It's also the source of chocolate. And of course, those Indians figured out the very complex process for producing chocolate. If they had not figured that out, we wouldn't have chocolate. It's the source of vanilla, which is an orchid that grows there. It's the source of tomatoes, squash, and lots of peppers, all kinds of peppers come out of this area of the world. And so that's something that often isn't realized. So we want to, these women know how to cook a lot of good food. They're very good cooks. And so we want to provide them with solar cookers and let them expand this work of recruiting ambassadors. And then we want to track the progress of that using modern business techniques and performance measurements, evaluations, to using an independent third-party evaluator to see, are they using these things on a daily basis or whenever they can. Can't be used on cloudy days, so you still have to have your backup device or your fire or whatever. So it is a complicated thing. The change management issues of getting a person to adapt this new practice is complicated, and it's a challenge. So that's where we want to look at the outcomes and see how we're making an impact in terms of deforestation and other things. And then, so,
Question,
yeah.
can you tell us at all about the pilot project? Are you familiar with how it went and how many people participated and the big picture?
Yeah, I think maybe when I'm through the slides, I'll ask Sophie, and she can fill you in with some of that, because she is part of that independent organization that tracks some of that information.
Perfect.
Okay. These are some distribution projects that received some grant funds in District 7620. There's the one group distributed water filters in the Virgin Islands. Here's another group that distributed solar lanterns in Uganda. And here's another one that installed solar PV panels in Uganda. So these kind of projects this district has been doing, and hopefully we will be the next one to distribute some solar cookers in Oaxaca.
Paul, in those projects, I guess the recipients receive the lanterns or whatever they are distributing without cost, right?
I don't know. I assume so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This is a group of women in Oaxaca and some of the Rotarians there, the men that support that. And so they are, hopefully will be partnering with us on this. I've talked to lots of Rotary clubs around the district about this idea. And this is a list of some of them. We hopefully also will get involved with a couple of these clubs in California, San Diego, Los Altos, who have expressed an interest in this. Here's the partners that we hope to work with. Lorena Harp, the field project leader. Roger Haynes, who provides these solar cookers. Cinsa is an organization that provides cooking pots. They're a large manufacturer of cookware, kitchenware for all kinds of things in Mexico, and they have a foundation that can provide cooking pots. And then the independent evaluator, solar household energy, and Sophie is the executive director of that. So the next steps, now this is where it comes down to North Bethesda Rotary Club. We need to, of course, get memorandums of understanding from some of these other clubs to see that they are supportive of this, at least at some level in terms of advisory service. And then this club needs to maintain or establish eligibility for being able to receive grant funds. And that's where we have some work to do. We have to look at per capita total giving, 50% of members at Paul Harris Fellows, and so forth. So that's something that Steve and I can work on. We need a Rotary Foundation chair that has to be appointed. We need a chair and designate to receive grant management training, and the district provides that in February. There's a required training course. We need to establish a system for maintaining the financial records and reporting, and use the grants module for storing data. So there's lots of nuts and bolts to be worked out in building a grant. The grant I'm talking about, ballpark number is about $5,000, so it's not a lot of money, but I'm hoping that we will learn how this works, how to do this, how to satisfy all the requirements going forward. And so I know that there's, Carmela has been helpful working with me on trying to figure out how we can shape this proposal. And I'm hoping that we can continue to create a committee of some of us to come together and work out what would be a satisfactory proposal. So that's an ongoing process, and I'm inviting some of you who might be interested in this to form a small committee so that we can proceed to hammer out all these details. So that's it. That's where I'm at right now. Any questions?
Yeah,
John?
two things. If your comment about, or your note in the slide about appoint a Rotary Foundation chair, of course, the chairman, well, we have one, right? That's Carmela, is our Rotary Foundation president of the North Bethesda Rotary Club.
That's not the Rotary International.
I am the Rotary International.
The Rotary, oh, you are, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And then is there a model or a possibility of ensuring that the recipients, the end recipients, the women of Oaxaca who will receive ultimately these solar cookers, that they receive them grants, that others, including us, and using the grant, we pay for the solar cooker, so that the end recipient is receiving them without buying them. Because I think that's a requirement of the grants. We're not, Rotary doesn't, I think, fund projects that sells things. It donates to the end recipient.
Right. Okay. And that's certainly a way we can shape the proposal. And we can afford that. We can do that. But I guess one of the questions we need to figure out is, since these people will become users of these solar cookers, they need to have some kind of an incentive to continue support.
Yeah,
And,
you can't use Rotary dollars for that, for ongoing incentives. You can't, I mean, it has to be a project that sustains itself.
So
Yeah.
maybe we can
And after
find a
that's,
way.
I think maybe what it might involve is kind of financial incentives for the individual to go out. I mean, if having someone on the ground there who invested in it mentally as well as emotionally, and will then see to it that the buyers of the solar cookers, that's buyers of the solar cooker, will go out and realize the value of them by their own use and then will then distribute to their friends and relatives. And I think at that point, they can sell, they can develop some program where they're having them built and then distributed and sold on their end. So that however becomes self-sustaining, whereas the person on the ground would see to it that the recipients of the solar cooperatives would be the ones that would take the initiative to move it out from there, and that there would be someone there to follow that through. You have your, you want to say something?
Sophie, did you want to say something?
Yes, I mean, I can't hear everything that's being said because the audio isn't perfect, but let me just expand a little bit on the pilot project that we did and how this whole project is working. So I'll just say, give a summary and then really tackle the question of selling versus donating. We're working with a field project manager, Lorena Harp, who has been working with these communities for 20 years. And the way we've been doing it is, first of all, so Roger Haynes, the producer of the Haynes Solar Cooker, has been, I suppose, selling them to Sheet for this project at a very discounted cost, really below cost. It's really a donation. On his website, he sells them for $100. He's giving them to us for $15, which barely covers materials and probably not even labor to make them, which he and his assistant make them. So we're not getting Roger rich, just a little point there. Second of all, then Lorena's job, our field project manager, is to train local community women to sell them to their friends and neighbors in their community. So not only do they know the local recipes and cooking habits, but they're in the community long-term to ensure continued follow-up and training and support as needed, replacement parts if needed, even though it's a very sturdy, durable solar cooker. And so when the women, we started out selling them for $25, and 10 of that went as a commission to women. 15 went just for Lorena's training and supervision costs, just so she can go out and train more women and promote the solar cookers in more local communities. And the idea was that if she has enough ambassadors in these small communities and sells enough cookers, then she can eventually build a sustainable enterprise so that the money she gets, after commission is enough to buy the solar cookers wholesale. So the ultimate goal, of course, is for this to be sustainable. But in the meantime,
Okay. I'm listening to my organization is making a pitch for funding to a Rotary Club.
David, you're not muted.
So what do you think?
That's our president of the board, David Grossman.
What?
Anyhow, so we are creating employment. These ambassadors are getting a commission, and they're leaders of the community in terms of promoting not just solar cooking, but food safety, hand washing, and so forth. And we've also learned in solar cooking projects that donating solar cookers, first of all, the women don't really value them as much. It's a free thing. They see it as they got it for free. They don't really need to use it. When we sell solar cookers, we're looking for women who would value it and who would use it, because using it is the only way to really get your money back. But as I said, now we're giving more and more of that money for the sales is going to commission. We're selling for $33. It's a bigger, better solar cooker, and 15, I think, or $20 of that is going to the local community ambassadors. And women say that they save about 50% of their fuel wood, which is huge because, with a fuel efficient stove or an LP stove, they cost more than solar cookers, and you're still paying for gas for forever. Whereas you pay off your solar cooker in a couple months, maybe 6 months at most, if you only use it like once a week. And then you've got free energy for the next 5 to 10 years. So, yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts about that.
So thank you, Sophie. I think we're going to wrap up in a couple of minutes here, but Yeah, I think, in some of these distribution projects like solar lanterns or water purifier devices, they just distributed them for free and then go away. And we don't know if they are sustainable or not, because what a lot of nonprofits have realized over the years is that if you just give people things, particularly technology devices of some sort that take some training, they'll tinker with them for a while and then they won't be used. So they don't want to do things that way. We want to do things that involve ongoing sustainable work and effort. And that's why we're trying to find a way to make a sustainable project.
But the proposal should obviously include something along that nature, where you're not only wanting to distribute these solar cookers, but you also want to see to it that the solar cookers can then find their way into the
Yes,
environment, location where they are, so more and more people are using it.
that's right.
And you can develop whatever system works and they can call a profit of it, which is
Right.
certainly fine. But as long as that keeps the technology alive in the area and spreading,
Exactly.
the ultimate goal is.
Right. On that note, sorry, quick note just to say that we've also, Lorena, our field project manager, has trained our local ambassadors to take surveys. And we've gotten survey results back, and then she compiles the data, we analyze it, just because we've got the Excel tools to do that. But that's really all the survey doing is done in Mexico by local people. And the ambassadors are motivated to ensure that their customers use their solar cookers frequently, because that adds to their business. Happy customers, encourage other people to buy more solar cookers. So that's why we're framing it more of an enterprise model than a free distribution, because we want to make sure that, just like an enterprise, we want our customers to be happy so they can buy more, etc. But we are far from being a sustainable enterprise.
Okay.
We're running short on time. I think Victoria.
Okay, so-
a minute comment.
If I can, it's more just like a suggestion. This cooker, what you show, looks for me very temporary. It looks good for a camping or something, not for, house, because it's children, animals, wind, it can be, roll over. If for you presentation will be added, imagine, outdoor cooking, outdoor kitchen, what a lot of people has, and some kind of, place for put it temporary. Even if you have something hot, you have to put it in the grass or what, just about your presentation. For me, it's not fully developed. You have to offer people how it can be used, That's what I feel.
Well, I think that,
You
there are obviously more details that need to come out, and we thought through this with the initial presentation. I think the idea of the solar cooker certainly sounds good, and it helps the environment, protects the forest, that no one can argue against that. I guess my only question is, who's up all of the sun? We'll be in the dark. We'll let that discussion for later. In any event, Paul, thank you for the discussion,
Okay.
and we'll certainly continue the discussion.